said it's Islamic culture.
I said it's culture, yeah, Islamic culture.
There's Islamic culture. You know, it's Islamic culture. Islamic culture meaning, Islamic culture meaning Allah told us to do it, or Prophet Muhammad. Let me speak. Hassan, what is different between Islamic culture and Arab culture?
Can we go to a bit of a culture where your society?
I ask you that. What is different? Hassan.
Hear me out. I don't want to Shamsi. He was the one who said it. He wants to come with you. Bro, you can't. You're not involved, mate.
Shut your mouth.
Whatever, mate. Whatever. What are you going to do? We're going to
Relax. Shut your mouth.
Joke. What are you going to do?
If you're going to start, if I want you to start,
Can I let's just stop it and then start again. Let me separate the videos.
Hassan, can you just calm down, bro?
Bro, my man, you want to talk to your little pet boy? You want to see what we're did you hear how we talk to me?
Where's Rush?
Let's talk.
Rush.
You guys are because you were speaking about this before. Can I say something before we start? I've decided not to talk about grooming unless I'm talking. Hold on. Unless I'm talking to sensible people who are respect. I want to stand here, man. Hold on.
We're asking to move something. Have you noticed? If I want to stand here, that's where I want to stand here, isn't it? If you want to stand there, don't mean no shit.
Adam, do what you want, man. Stand there, man.
So before I go on, before I go on, I've decided when I was away for 2 weeks that when it comes to grooming, I would only talk to certain people like yourself, maybe, and other people. When they've come up to me, I said I don't want to talk about it, and I said it to yourself, didn't I? No offense. So as long as I can have a productive conversation, I will have a conversation about it. Now I do need to say one thing before we start, though. I have to preface it. I have two problems here. One of them is grooming, and when I see that, I'm very hard in my thought process, because it's very personal. When it comes to Muslims and Islam, and terrorism, I'm flexible. As you know, when you told me about Salafi Islam, I'm flexible. But when it comes to the grooming, I'm very, very tough in my stance. And so when you hear me sometimes talking about grooming, because it's so personal, I do have a bee in my bonnet about it, and I'm not going to lie about that.
Okay. Now you said, I was asking, what's the difference between Arab culture and Islamic culture? If Islam, it was just an Arab culture, the Arab pagans would not reject it. They would say, yeah, just our culture. But the fact that when we read the Quran, the Arab pagans reject Islam because they say Islam is not the way of our forefathers. Okay? So now when you say it's Islamic culture, it doesn't make any sense.
But can you explain what is Arab culture though? I don't know.
There's different types of Arab culture. For example, Arab culture is to marry 10 women. Their culture is to marry 10 women.
Before Islam comes along.
The pre-Islamic days, which called Ayam al-Jahiliyyah, days of ignorance. Pre-Islamic days, that's their culture. Okay? So to say Islamic culture doesn't make any sense. Why? Because Islamic culture means it's been based from the Quran and the Sunnah. Because you use Islam. Islam is not Pakistani. Islam is not Algerian. Islam, which Prophet Muhammad came with. Like people now, even they take a mic, they say halal chips. What is all about halal chips? Islamic chips. Islamic chips, why? What is it? So when you say Islamic culture, the grooming gangs, in Islam, do you know what is their punishment? Maybe you disagree with it, but this is their punishment. We don't put them in hotels, 5-star hotels. We don't do that. Okay? Why? Because these people are considered to be المفسدون في الأرض, those who cause corruption on the earth. And the only way to stop their corruption and their evil is by what? Take them to court. Of course, you have to take them to court, and it's a capital punishment. Why?
But before we go on, whenever I talk about grooming, I always say, and you can watch all the videos, if Muslims were like yourself and your crew, you would not be grooming. Yeah? So if you're true Muslims, you would not be grooming.
Proves that it's disobedient Muslims.
Evil Muslims.
Right. They're disobedient Muslims, but we cannot take the fact out that Islam does influence culture to a certain degree.
But no, wait. Like, how? Explain.
The thing is,
about grooming.
Explain what you mean.
About grooming gangs.
I'm going to have to speak for 5 minutes here. So
5 minutes.
So it's going to take that long here. And I think you're Moroccan.
Have you seen this book?
No.
Take it.
No, I'm going to quote from it, then I will give it to you.
Yeah. But
this book which exposes that if grooming gangs was from Islamic culture, how come 70% white people do grooming gangs as well? So Islam is telling them to do it.
All right.
Can you give the title?
Yeah.
So
the book.
So
customs of marriage history and the modern day.
So before I go on, I've said it numerous times, if you're a devout Muslim, you're not going to be going around drinking and grooming. And I've said that every single time. That is different from what Tommy Robinson says, and I don't agree with Tommy Robinson's stance. He does say it's a Muslim kind of like Islamic thing. I've never said it's an Islamic thing, like to do with a religion as a core. I say there's a culture of, you're from Morocco? Or?
I'm Moroccan.
Yeah, so you're from you don't understand the Asian culture, the Asian subcontinent. And it includes my culture as well. So I'll explain. I believe there's 3 mixes here that has made this grooming epidemic become what it is, and it's not Islam. So what I say is, and you need to let me just finish it because it's going to have to go in one continuous thingy. I say it's like it's a mix of 3 separate entities. So first of all, you have the South Asian, which includes me, includes Hindus, includes people from Afghanistan, all the way over the Indian subcontinent, where we have this real honor-based culture, where, you know, in Sikhs and Muslims and Hindus families, if someone's abused, they don't go to the police. What they will do is hide it and try and deal with it with themselves. If something happens to save shame on the family, they will not go to the police or report things. And that becomes problematic when something happens like a rape, or something happens like somebody in your family is doing something, So we have this honor culture about the women, if they're kind of like, you know, found out to be prostituted, instead of dealing with the situation and say go to the police, they will try and deal with it themselves, or just send the girl up to a different area. Do you understand? So you're making a problem grow if you don't go to the police. Yeah, so that is a problem for the South Asian people's community. This is why you don't really see too many people that are coming from, say, you know, the African subcontinent or maybe Moroccan subcontinent. But you do.
Because the reason I came here for the Islamic culture thing.
Yeah. So and then you have the second mix, which I would say is Islamic culture. Now you need to listen to this.
No, before I listen, define what is Islamic culture.
Hold on, but I need to explain something.
You can use the terminology without.
But it's a terminology that I have labelled. It may not be right. It may not be right. It may not be right. But I've labelled it. So let me ask you a question first. Can something good come from something bad?
Can something good
come from something bad?
Like, for example, what?
So let's give
good. You can have like someone who's an evil person, and you can have children.
Hold on. So I'm going to give the example. Now, everybody not start interrupting, because I know this is going to trigger people. When you look at a Catholic priest, he is told to be celibate. Being celibate and controlling your urges in itself is a good thing. Yeah, is it not?
No, it's not.
For Catholics here, it's a good thing, but it has a bad consequence because men's urges are not built like that.
You ask us it's good. You ask yourself.
Hold on.
Because you say it's good. We don't agree with you.
You don't agree, but that's
because we know you should get married.
All right. So you don't agree with that, but this is my own what I call kind of like.
It's a wrong analogy.
I don't know, but the thing is that so I'm going to use, but that's the best one I can think of.
To understand.
So basically, what I'm saying is that in Islamic culture, which is not prevalent in Sikh culture, you have a big separation between men and women. Yeah, that in itself can be good. But it can also have a negative consequence because you cannot see women. Like when I go to a Sikh temple, hold on. Yeah. So in its essence, it's a good thing, But when you're separating men and women, in a Western world, it can become problematic. Now let me tell you why.
That's the same in the Jewish.
Hold on. In the Jewish, but the thing is that. So I'll give you an example. When I go to the Sikh temple, When I go to the Sikh temple,
the word don't mix. Everyone stay away from it.
When you go to the Sikh temple,
you need to let me finish my thing.
No. So basically in a Sikh temple, men and women mix together.
So there's a healthy.
But Islamically, you don't mix with men and women.
Yeah.
So basically, you have to lower your gaze. So then basically your urges build up.
Yeah.
You want to go.
He said it. Hold on. Bro, let me say something. Yeah. Now you will have brothers like these guys that are level-headed, are not extreme, they can control their urges. But you can have some little guys that are horny little guys that cannot control their urges. And when I'm just saying, when they're 16, what happens is that because they haven't got what I call a healthy look at sexuality, they can become deviant, in that sense. Now, do I think that the Islamic view on traditional values is wrong? No. Do I think the view on the Islamic traditional values is wrong? No. I believe women dressing modestly is good. Do not drink, do not have the intoxicants. I don't agree with any of that stuff. I don't agree with extramarital marriage. I don't even agree with homosexuality. So I agree with traditional values, but what happens when you have...
Next week you don't
When you, I've said it all the time. I've said it all the time. So when you have some weak-minded individuals up north, whatever you want to call it, and they are then put into the West, and when they see these girls dressing in a particular way, they're drinking and they're doing this, maybe they just cannot control their urges. You can.
So now I just spoke, yeah?
So that's a third part, the Western aspect.
I want to mention something, yeah? My point here came to you because you said Islamic culture. You cannot make up a definition which doesn't make any sense. You cannot come to me and say this Islamic camera. I'm going to tell you what do you mean by Islamic camera? Islam, when you say something Islamically, it has to be based upon the Quran, prophetic tradition, and the companions. There's no something called Islamic culture. There's something called Pakistani culture, Indian culture, Algerian culture, but don't mix between the two. Because, and now you said one point which you have mentioned. You said that Islam, because we don't free mix with a woman.
Not just that. There's a lot of unhealthy.
I understand. Hear me out. You said that something is good. However, the outcome for it, they have the urge. So they go what to do?
To some men.
So according to your logic, the reason the white people are sleeping with the little children because they don't stay with the children.
No, this is a separate topic. This is a separate topic.
I can't speak about the girls groomed, right? He's talking about vulnerability.
Well, what I'm saying, can I say something? Grooming is not about pedophilia. So we need to clarify something.
Let me finish one point. I haven't finished my point. My point, your logic, I have to use the logic here. One of the reasons you mentioned, let me clarify something. There's no something Islamic culture. First, there is some Islamic culture, but grooming gang is not Islamic culture, it's a satanic culture. That's what is the word. That's why the punishment for the capital punishment. That's what you should call it. Not Islamic culture. Islam is free from that satanic culture. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing, his logic, because men and women don't mix. So don't free mix, yeah? Don't free mix. The outcome for the what? They have the urge. So they want to exercise the urge, yeah? But hold a minute. We have here, which is a fact check, that there's a few types of grooming gangs. One of them is pedophilia, okay? And they say the pedophilic rings, or pedophilia, is taking a place. 100% are white people doing it.
We know that.
No, my question to you, according to your logic, is it because they don't have children, that's why they go sleep with the children? Because you said because we don't mix, therefore we go to women do that. No, it has nothing to do with that. Rather Islam teach you, if I'm not allowed to free mix with a woman, let alone sleeping with a woman, that will what prevent you more to not do it. However, Islam give you choice. Go get married. The Messenger of Allah said, "Ya ma'shar al-shabab, man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj." All group of youth, whoever is able to get married, get married. Okay, get married. That's the solution. But here in this country, to do fornication is so easy. But not in this country. I mean, let us be realistic. In many countries now, to get married, very hard. So that's the problem, I believe.
Yeah, all right.
They're making it hard for people to get married.
So we can say that in terms of Islamic culture, getting married is a good thing early because it stops men from acting out maybe kind of like the carnal wishes. But if in a country you're not allowed to do it, like in the UK, you can't. You're not allowed to get married. You can get married, but it's very hard to get married when you're 16, easy. You can, but most families do not want it to happen. But most families would not want their kids to get married so young. Yeah, because of the culture. Now, one thing I need to say to you, Shamsi, is
which culture? Islamic culture.
I know. This is why. That's why I said this.
Culture in the culture.
That's why I said there's free mixes. I said there's Asian culture. There's kind of what I call Islamic culture, and then there's hold on, but you need to say, and then there's Western culture.
I've heard you. Look. Sorry, brother. I already explained to you. It's called satanic culture, not Islamic culture. Grooming gangs has nothing to do with Islam. Rather, doesn't make any sense. It's Islamic culture, but in Islam, if you do grooming gangs, you have a capital punishment. So Allah tell you do it to kill you.
Yeah, but you're taking it by your definition. My definition is that.
No, you cannot come to our religion.
I'm saying that, like I said before, that if you have a group of people that are separated so much between men and women, it can become unhealthy to a certain degree.
But wait, let me just say this.
I'm saying it can become unhealthy.
But here they're not.
When you're telling a young guy, you can't look at a woman in the eyes, you can't touch their arms, you can't. No, but I'm saying some people do. You may be strong enough mentally to cope with that, but there are very weak
Rush. I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't want to make it an offense to anyone. But the same culture you're talking about, the separation of men and women, applies in Judaism.
Yeah, no, I disagree with them as well, but they haven't got a grooming situation.
Every issue, right, the Western world has with
But he doesn't care about that.
originates and stems.
What?
Jews are not grooming Sikh girls. He doesn't care.
But Jews are not grooming Sikh girls.
No, sorry. So if they're grooming, okay, if they're grooming other girls, it's okay.
But I'm saying, I've not heard any mass cases.
No, you said because they're not grooming Sikh girls. So you only care about your people.
What I'm saying, everybody has an in-group preference.
No.
Everybody
as a Muslim, even if they're not grooming Algerian girls, they're still evil people.
What I'm
and
saying
you
to you need to show me the cases.
Any level-headed Muslim person here.
Yes.
Okay,
but you need to show me the cases.
You
need to show.
I want to summarize it here because I have to go. My point here, look, listen carefully, yeah? And now let us make it clear. There's grooming gangs, and alhamdulillah, Jadai spoke to you, and he made sense what he told you.
Who?
Jadai spoke to you, a live streamer. The brother sent it to me, I've heard it.
We had a good conversation.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but he said something good, which you said to him is Islamic culture, and you mentioned some brothers, and he said if it's Islamic culture, why these brothers are not doing it? Therefore, it's Islamic culture. So there's one thing. The other thing you keep talking about, because we don't free mix Islam. The people are doing it in this country.
I didn't say that.
They're free mix.
I gave you a more holistic viewpoint.
No.
I said
Raj, let me finish my point, please. Raj, let us, brother, please, let us understand the reasons.
I heard a Jewish grooming gang.
Brothers, that's not a good point.
Show me the convictions.
We don't know what's happening with
I know, but until the convictions come, I can't condemn them.
I want to finish my point, brother.
I know, but you need to show me convictions.
Brother, he doesn't care about it because why? Basically, he's going to tell you, okay, if the Jews are doing it, so what's that mean? Is it okay? He can say that.
No, you can't put that in my mind.
No, but
you can't put that in my mouth.
I'm saying it's no good argument.
I care about everybody here, but the problem is, until I can see statistics of Jews here going around grooming Sikh girls or other girls, I cannot condemn them for a crime they have committed.
I'm going to go.
There's no.
I want to finish my point. You can go speak to all your life. My point is, you mentioned the reasons. Let us deal with the reasons. One of the reasons because in Islam we don't free mix, but the people are doing grooming gangs. They're free mix in this country, so that reason is invalid. The second reason is Islamic culture. I told you that is a satanic culture, has nothing to do with Islam. Okay, so understand that. The other thing, you saying that are Muslims. If it's a Muslim Islamic culture, how come only Asians are doing it? Do you know if Islam is only in Asia?
Because I've given you free components.
Wait.
The South Asian culture.
Raj, let me finish.
I've not listed Islamic culture. I've given you free.
I haven't finished, but
I need to answer your question.
No, Raj. How come Africans are not, brother? How come Africans are not doing it? How come this?
Explain that.
No, but no.
I said the Asian culture.
You missing my point, Raj. If it's Islamic culture, therefore the whole Muslim Ummah should be doing it. That doesn't make sense. Simple as that. Full stop.
Hold on. Before you go, go. 1 minute.
I have to go. No, I have to go.
Get him, grab your brother. Grab him in there. I don't want to grab him.